and they have the host families, and then they have people who are developing support for them.
That's fun.
Isn't that kind of?
It is. Yeah, my mom has
And
done
so,
it.
you know, that might be, I'm probably not gonna do that
Yeah, for sure.
It's
really nice working
These people, they are the ones who have student cafe in Scotland. So they will show me this cafe as well. So I guess they said there will be 40 or 50 people who are somehow connected to Estonia.
Oh, wow.
Most of them are very old ones, but they have also grandchildren here. I had no idea what to expect.
I didn't know they had any Estonians in Arizona.
How are you guys? Good to see you. Hello. Very good. Thank you.
well, if they find out that there's a lot of law, we're gonna find out.
Or you can do that here.
Oh, Dirty Dancing?
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that. I might go tonight.
Dirty dancing?
Dirty Dancing? Yeah, please.
My parents.
What did you say about it?
Is it pretty good?
I'm such a sucker for dancing. I love that stuff.
I can tell you about it earlier.
I've also danced myself, so it's interesting and really inspiring to see people really what they're doing and have the technique down.
Hey, the main character was on channel 10 this morning singing, and what is that? Heck of a voice.
Oh,
They all
the
do.
male?
Pardon me?
The male?
Yeah, the male singer. Yeah.
Oh, I bet. It's very interesting. Very excited for that.
No, we've been to many places together.
Yeah, but it's so amazing. It's a small, like small-ish theater, so even if you start at the very top, I think it's not the bad. So you'll
There are some areas that you sit and it's very tough time hearing, especially in the valley. It's tough. But I guess you can get
Internship? Yeah, the name of the guy, what do they call him?
very easy to do.
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That's how old
You have your sights set on a particular place?
Not yet.
Great movie.
Last movie.
Mhm.
And then who else?
I'm imagining it'll be even grander because there's so many extra little weekends and everything.
Yeah. Are you going tomorrow? Tomorrow is it?
I might go tonight.
Oh, you're going tonight?
Either tonight or Sunday.
It's only on
The
for a
productions
week, I
again
think.
is wonderful.
It's on for a short time.
Well, they all are. It used to be 2 weeks, now they're only here
So
for like
Daria
a week.
from last
Yeah.
It's even that. They used to start on a Tuesday and end on a Sunday, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should do 2 weeks because every night it's like they're selling out. So I think with 2 weeks it was a better chance for everyone to
Yeah, it is. Yeah, contact her.
The weather is nice.
The only one that's here for 2 weeks.
The weather is very
You
nice.
just need a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to look at the schedule. I think it was only working.
My parents already got us tickets for
Well, good
everybody to go see
afternoon,
them.
friends and ladies and gentlemen and colleagues and fellows, students. My name is Dr. Bill Silcock, and it's really my joy and privilege every day to come to work because I feel like I'm walking into the United Nations. In many ways I am. So this is Cronkite Global Conversations, this Soviet Bear edition, or whatever we're calling this. We'll give some more detail on that, and we'll introduce our speakers in just a moment. A couple of housekeeping items. A special welcome to those who are joining us on the web. We learned last time we did this, there were folks as far away as Sarajevo, Bosnia, that were watching. So don't let that panic you. We do have a housekeeping item. Unfortunately, those of you on the web can't enjoy the free pretzels and snacks our program manager, Krista Kull, has provided. But for those who are in-house, if you'll just sign us up, not that you have to sign up for food that you eat, but just we want to keep track of who's here. If you're tweeting this, that's wonderful. The hashtag we invite you to use is CronkiteHHH, which you see up there, which is, if any of you are on social media, we encourage you always to follow the fellows, because at least 3 times a week, they're sharing interesting ideas, not only about politics, but also about leadership, which is what they're studying while they're here in the United States this year. Our class of fellows behind me has been at ASU since the days of hot, dry August. And they're certainly enjoying February here in Phoenix. Our program is named after, of course, Hubert Humphrey, the vice president under Lyndon B. Johnson. And those of you who've seen the Oscar-nominated movie Selma, we're not going to debate whether or not you like how the movies have portrayed President Johnson today, but it certainly brings us back to that era. And Hubert Humphrey was a big part of that whole civil rights movement and getting that legislation passed. For the Cronkite Humphrey Fellows who are on the State Department Fulbright program, they come to the United States selected from all over the world. And when they're here, their circle of influence is wide and far. And they become parts of concentric circles of learning and growth that includes host families. So we're very grateful for our host families, our faculty mentors, students, all of who make the program possible and allow the Humphrey Fellows to really leverage this year. So when they go back home, they can do even bigger and better things than they've done before they arrived. The conversations that will continue throughout the March, there's flyers over here, so we'll hope you'll join us for our final 2 conversations. Today, I need to get out of the way to give plenty of time for our 2 speakers. Krista Kull from Estonia is our first speaker, and both her and her colleague Sholpan from Kazakhstan are going to speak about a country, an independence, a life that still exists in the shadow of the Soviet Union. You don't have to be very far away from the headlines from the Ukraine to know that that's there. So what is that like and what does that mean? They called the presentation In the Shadow of the Bear, I can't say the word, democracy. I wanted to say dictatorship. Democracy and dictatorship in former Soviet republics. So if you'll please give a warm welcome to Krista Kull, she'll get us started.
Be technically prepared. Hi, my name is Krista. I'm from Estonia. Estonia is a small country in Northeast Europe, and I'm very glad to tell you my story about the Big Bear and democracy, because I can't give you any example of independent country like the Republic of Estonia is talking about dictatorship. So I guess Sholpan will have some kind of other additional flavor which gives dictatorship issue. I am not a journalist, I'm a PR person, but I tried to make my first newspaper layout. And I called it Estonian Moments. You see, it's the free copy, and number 1. I hope to be very good at the end of Humphrey program to make like 10 newspapers, because I'm here with 9 different and wonderful journalists, and I'm getting to understand what they do now. As a PR person, I have told that whenever a journalist will ask you, you will keep telling your story. My story is based on my emotions, my background, and all the facts which I present here, I can prove them later if you have any doubts. So let's get it on. Estonia is the small independent country, and we got our independence in 1918, and it was in February 24th. So next week I will celebrate my independent country's 97th birthday. And what has kept our country so democratic and so open to the whole world, and how we have survived, I call it our country's stubbornness. We have survived Soviet occupation for many years. and German occupation. And we have had some amazing men who were called Forest Brothers, and they joined a resistance movement in Estonia, as well as Forest Brothers lived also in Latvia and Lithuania. And this is one example of the bunker they built in a ground. They had whole villages in the ground. And that is amazing how people struggled against Soviet regime and Soviet occupation. So they lived there for 10, 15 years. The last Forest Brother was found in Estonia, in southern part of Estonia, in 1978. And he escaped from KGB agents, and he drowned in a river. So he was pretty old man. And we have even our modern time Forest Brothers. Two brothers who went to forest in 1986 just to struggle against Soviet regime. They didn't want to go to the Soviet army, and they went to forest. And they came out from the forest in the year of 2000. So they stayed there for 14 years. One of these guys is now living in my hometown, and another one has never recovered from being such a long period in forest, and he is now in one of our mental institutions. The Iron Curtain, what I do remember of that, just the stories and some facts from my personal life. I remember that we were not allowed to go abroad. My mother and father were not allowed to go abroad. We were closed border, and I remember even from the 1990s when I had my first high school sweetheart, a young boy who lived in one of our Estonian islands. I even had the permission to go and visit him during our summer break. So, but now Estonia is the free world. We don't even need passports to travel all over the Europe. We only need our ID cards. There are more than 75,000 people from Estonia who left our country. They were war refugees. And there's one lovely lady. Her name is Jutta, and she lives near New York. She's actually older than Republic of Estonia is. She is 102 years old, and she is the one who went from Estonia with her family to Sweden, from Sweden to Germany, and from Germany to the United States. And she is the one who has kept alive the identity and good spirit of Estonian life. The other thing what has touched me deeply in my background is the Baltic chain. The chain, which is human chain, which went throughout 3 different Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. So we go back. So the 3 countries, and the human chain was more than 400 miles long, and there are more than 2 million people who participated. It happened in 1989, and I was somewhere here with my friends and family just to support the will to become a free and independent country. So this is the Red Soviet Union. You see Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Georgia, Ukraine, and this is the free Europe now, the end of the Red era. I was born in 1976, so I lived in this Soviet country before restoration of our independence in 1991, 15 years. And what do I remember? As Dr. Bill said, we have to add a beer, a Russian beer in our presentation or talk about the beer. This is the beer I remember. there were Olympic Games in Moscow in 1980s, and I haven't seen most lovely and adorable bear after that. Actually, one part of the Olympic Games took place also in Tallinn, the capital city of Estonia, and yeah, this is the bear I remember. These are the things I remember from my childhood. Take a look here. We have to wear these school uniforms. We had food coupons because we were living in the period where the shops were empty. You need to have coupons to buy sugar, flour, bread, alcohol. And that is the girl. She inspires me a lot. This is one of the most famous Soviet time toys. It's called like Cry Baby. When you push her, she goes back, but she comes up in a minute. So this is the description of the total stubbornness. I was the one who collected Russian times postcards, stamps, because everybody who lived at this Soviet period collected something. I have tons of Russian period postcards and stamps in my home country. It's the freedom time. Going back to towards democracy, I have one man to introduce you. This is the president of Estonia, Toomas Hendrik Ilves. And he is the one who he is also kind of foreign Estonian. He was born in 1953 in Sweden, in Stockholm. Afterwards, he moved to United States. He got 2 degrees, one in Pennsylvania University and another one in Columbia University. And he has been the one who has very open-minded, very democratic. So this is one of the world's most famous selfies our president took. This is our singing festival, and he tried to have all these like 300,000 singers all together in one photo. He's very easygoing, he's very open-minded. And he has been also an ambassador to Estonia here in Washington. And he likes to communicate, and he is the real ambassador of Estonian democracy. Here is how he likes to host the guests, like barefooted. He has his farm right in our county where I live. He is the best tweeter. I have to learn a lot of him. He tweets a lot. He likes to be online, and he is really good. So let's take a look what he has to say. Oh, sorry. Back.
Estonia's use of IT in the public and governance sector has clearly been the factor in pushing us to the forefront of countries in modernization. We have, thanks to the various solutions we have, be it e-taxation, e-health, e-voting, made Estonia one of the most transparent and cleanest governments in the world. Precisely thanks to the fact that you can't bribe a computer, that people trust the system, and we have a far more efficient way of doing things.
All success, I believe, includes a fair amount of chance.
So, let's go on. So, as our president said, we have tons of examples to teach the world how one country can be democratic and transparent. Here are just some examples, which I am also the local government official I use every day. my fellows know I'm not so good in PowerPoints and praises it, but I'm the best in doing all kinds of e-stuff. For example, we have e-cabinet. Everybody can follow what our parliament and our government decides, how they vote, and they do all these e-cabinet sessions online. We do have e-police, we have digital signature, we have electronic health record, we park by using our mobile phones, and we do i-voting, I'll tell a bit later.
There are times when old-fashioned solutions don't meet our modern demands, like signing documents and contracts with a pen and paper. Today's digital world demands a more flexible and responsive solution, like digital signatures. Let's take Filippo, whose business partner is based abroad. Whenever they need to countersign documents in the course of their work, it can end up taking them weeks to get a deal done because of all the paperwork being physically sent back and forth. It's such a waste of time. Now, if Filippo and his business partner used digital signatures, they could close their deals in a matter of minutes, not weeks. They'd only need to select a document, right-click it, sign digitally using their secure PIN code, and then send it off by email. The process is completely paperless, and in the European Union, a digital signature is just as valid as one made with ink. But it gets even better. With a mobile ID, Filippo can sign documents, make bank transfers, and more, all from his mobile phone, wherever he happens to be and with whatever papers he needs to sign, whether they're for business or other legal purposes. Studies have shown that using a digital signature helps to save an equivalent of 1 whole working week per year for every working-age adult. Just stop and think for a minute what you could do with a whole extra week of time. Or take the environment. If in a small country like Estonia, which is a pioneer in the technology of digital signatures, it's been found that a stack of paper as high as the Eiffel Tower could be saved every month. Imagine how much it could do to reduce the waste for other, larger European nations. Digital signatures benefit everyone, from common citizens and enterprises and all the way up through governments. It raises productivity and efficiency, helps to reduce our impact on the environment, and establishes a uniform digital market in Europe.
What does it mean that Estonia is a talent-ready country? I found that information a few days ago that Estonia considers to be one of the smallest countries which is in the top 20 talent-ready countries among Switzerland, United States, Canada, Sweden, United Kingdom. And according to the Global Talent Competitive Index created by University Insight in partnership with Singapore Human Capital Leadership Institute, they placed Estonia to the position of number 19. So this index measures the country's ability to attract and incubate talent. And I just give you some flavor. So the e-residency is a very new project which was born in Estonia last year. It means that those people who are not Estonian citizens but want to do business in Estonia or want to have cooperation partners and have to sign different documents can apply for this almost the same as I have my ID card. They do have a residency card, and they easily can do all the same stuff like I do in my everyday work. There are some examples, like Arvo Pärt is a very great composer, and he is the world's most performed living composer already 4th year. Estonia is the member of European Space Agency. It sounds very yeah, like galaxy is the limit for the country. Estonian Georgian film Tangerines is among 9 Oscar nominees, and Estonia is the home of many startups. And those fellows who live here and want to send money back home or change currency and do all kinds of monetary actions, you should Google now TransferWise. It's the creation of the 2 guys who are also fathers of Skype. Take a look. They just launched this website and environment in the United States a couple of days ago. So 20 minutes is of course very short period, but I will be here till May. You are always welcome to come and ask me more questions, and if I have answers, we can do tons of things together. I wrote here local girl. It's not a mistaken word. It's the global local. It's the new word we used here with our fellows. So, and you can find me on these social media places. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. We're going to make a quick transition while we put in the slides for Sholpan. Does someone want to ask Krista one quick question while we do a little things behind the scenes here? It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. You know what's going on behind the curtain. Intezar.
Well, Krista, my question would be that nowadays we all, like the last 1 decade, we're moving toward globalization. Now the countries are trying to be giant. So Estonia has been this giant from Soviet Union and from Soviet power. What was the setback or drawback if Estonia was part of the Soviet Union? For example, you got freedom, but Soviet Union is one of the powerful countries in the world. I think there were some kind of side benefits for the Estonian government. Do you think it was kind of misfortune first for Estonia to be this giant from Soviet Union?
The only answer for that could be that if we were still part of Soviet Russia, I can't present all these success stories and the strong identity of the small nation right now. It could be stagnation, because the period of Soviet time was stagnation period.
One more?
Thank you, Intezar.
I have one question.
Yes.
Can farmers send milk electronically? No, because I have heard that in these Baltic countries, the agriculture also is very much integrated, internet integrated, and the farmers also have these virtual markets and etc. Do you have an idea of this?
We have virtual markets, but not sending milk, but I can sit at my home and I can order. There is a special environment. There are all local farmers around my hometown, and I know that that one offers milk, that one offers meat, that one offers cabbages and carrots, and I just fill some places, and the milk is right at my door next morning. How did it came through internet? I never know. Might be.
Hope one day you can download me.
Yeah, this could be the next challenge for Estonians. So milk downloading. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. And we've met our technical challenges, so Sholpan's ready to continue the story of not only her wonderful country, but the Soviet influence, good or for bad, in that nation. Kazakhstan.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sholpan Zhaksybaeva. I'm from Kazakhstan, and today I will tell you about democracy success in my country. Yes, we enjoy 26 years of independence, yes, and for sure it is a rather short period. But just now you saw the development of democracy in Estonia. And now let's see what destination Kazakhstan arrived at the same period of time. And as Krista mentioned, we have one and the same background. We are former Soviet republics. We enjoyed socialism during more than 70 years, and we inherited a lot of advantages and drawbacks of socialism. Unlike Estonia, Kazakhstan is a very huge country. Is very huge country that situated in Eurasia, in Central Asia, with the part in Europe and on Ural River. And by the territory, Kazakhstan is the ninth largest country in the world. So, and a lot of Americans very surprised at this fact. And but our population is very rare. Only 17 million people are living. And among all the Soviet republics, Kazakhstan has the largest economy. And of course, Kazakhstan is the largest landlocked country. So as you see at this map, we border Russia, China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and also we join some part of Caspian Sea. And to its south, you see that we have collection of failing states and authoritarian regimes, and among them Uzbekistan. It is only one barrier, only one buffer that keep us from troublemaker of our region, Afghanistan. And Kazakhstan has a population of more than 70 million people, and the majority of population is living in big cities. And here is our flag. It is a blue color. You see sun, you see soaring steep eagle as a symbol of our independence. And here is our state emblem, symbol. And according to constitution, the state language is Kazakh, and almost 50% of population speaks native language. We have literacy rate almost 100%, and our average salary is 650. Our pension is 126. My mother is lucky; she has 180 pension, and it is considered to be a good one. And we in Iraq is of Turkish origin, and it stands for freedom or free. Yes, and Kazakhstan is a multi-ethnic and secular country. 62% of Muslims, 36% of Christians, and we have others. And it is, of course, also inherited from Soviet period. Kazakhstan is populated more than 130 nationalities, and you see that majority of them are Kazakh, Uzbeks, Russians. We have Germans, we have Jewish, we have Greece, we have Polish. It is due to Stalin policy when he migrated a lot of nationalities, and when they invaded neighboring countries, and then they put them in prison, and in order not to kill them, they just sent them in the place of exile that Kazakhstan used to be during the 1st century. That's why this happened accidentally, but yes. And Kazakhstan is known by its rich natural resources. Among them, it is oil, gas, gold, and Kazakhstan is #1 producer in the world of uranium. And out of these 120 elements of chemicals, we have 99% in our land. And it is, I just took it from the site of our embassy, how Kazakhstan attracts investors to invest money, because it is considered that Kazakhstan have political and social stability, that Kazakhstan may guarantee investments, that we have large mineral resources, and Kazakhstan is a huge hub between Europe and Asia. And of course, we have neighbor markets, Russia, China, and it up to 500 millions. And foreign investments, you may see that Netherlands, USA, France, Great Britain, Italy, and other countries invest money into the industry of Kazakhstan. And I think that out of 100 companies, foreign companies, 30 is American, Chevron Oil, Petroleum, other companies. Still the structure of gross flow, it is consist of extract industry. And Kazakhstan is considered to have most successful scenario of market and economy development. And of course, the primary reason for this success is our oil resources and good financial policy, privatization, good marketing and management decisions that our authorities made in the first years of independence. And all these factors attract a lot of investors in our country. But on the one hand, we in democratic transformation, we consider to be very negative, as we still didn't implement a lot of guarantees on human rights, but on the other hand, the transformation to a market economy was successful due to these resources. And our economic growth was 5% per 11,357 per capita. Yes, and now let's see how this undoubtedly impressive economical success translated into betterning of the life of just simple people in our country. Unfortunately, it didn't affect the life of majority of population. If you come to Kazakhstan, you may see the only two flourishing cities. It is Almaty and Astana. At the moment, we have the following challenges. We have political and democratic institutions and a lot of guarantees that we give on human rights. It is written in our constitution, it is written in our laws, but it is still not implemented. And it is considered that Kazakhstan has one of the best laws in the post-Soviet country, but nothing is implemented. Violation is law, one of the main reasons of our democratic unsuccess. And we have stratification of society, corruption. I think it is a part of political system. And we have, unfortunately, the growing Islamism. And according to Transparency International, we rank 126th place out of 175. Today he was released. And so only two cities, as I have told, see any benefits from the money that flow into the Kazakhstan. Here you may see my native city that was the first with the mount. Is extremely beautiful. If you visit Kazakhstan, you should go first to my city, Almaty. And Astana is the capital that's situated in the north, actually in Siberia. And we have a lot of facilities. It is very modern. They are very modern and very good-looking cities. And what we have in our villages, we have very poor houses neglected. We have children that have no any kindergarten. We have very bad roads. We don't have any, still don't have any supplies of pure water. And average salary in Kazakhstan, average salary is, as I mentioned, is 658%. And as I mentioned, that we have a stratification of society. You may see here that, for example, chairman of our state company, Kazakh Telecom, his monthly salary is $365,000. And president of also it is a state-controlled bank. He has 100,000. And the teacher in our country earns only $443 till $800, and doctors $540 till $1,000. Of course, with such a miserable pension, our old people lead very miserable life. And this is the old lady. She's holding in her mouth 1,000 tenge. And if she receives $126, she should buy food at least for $64, and then she has utilities $92, and you may count what is left for her to live. And some of them, they grew some vegetables, and on the street you may see them buying these vegetables. And this year, from the January, our utilities raised 1.5 times. Potatoes and buckwheat that majority of old people may allow, it raises in 2 times. Land between two huge countries, like Russia and China. And at the moment, you know what is happening is Russia. Russia has very good appetite, even for Kazakhstan. And in June last year, President of Russia, Putin, he told that Kazakhstan never had independence before 20th century. And it made a great outrage in our society. And a lot of population came to conclusion that the second victim after Ukraine may be Kazakhstan. Because
thank you very much. So why don't we have Krista come join Sholpan, and we will see what questions you might have for both of them as we focus on trying to understand a little bit about 2 very different nations who have had the influence of the Soviet Empire, some more so today than others, perhaps. In fact, that might be an opening question I have, but I think it's more important since I get a chance to talk to them all the time. Come over here for the benefit of the camera, if anybody's watching on the webinar. Who's got a question? Please.
I'd like to ask about Baikonur.
Say it again louder for the...
Baikonur. Baikonur. Is it the Russians still use it? I mean, who uses it?
Baikonur, it is launching spot. Yes, it was given to lease to Russia, if I'm not mistaken, for 60 years. Yes, and they pay a lot of money to the budget of Kazakhstan. But Kazakhstan at the same time also may use it. But actually it is not territory of Russia. But if it will be some difficult situation between Russia and Kazakhstan, I'm afraid that Russia will put forward the question of returning Baikonur to Russia.
Good question. Others? In Estonia, what is the attitudes toward Putin, and especially what's happening in the Ukraine? How are the local citizens viewing that?
But should I answer to? Would you like to hear my opinion,
yes,
or President's opinion?
Well, both.
I do have just very fresh. It was the newspaper magazine. I don't know which one, but I found it yesterday on President's Facebook account, and the magazine is called The Interpreter, and it says, "The President of Estonia. It is really odd to see that a quarter of a century after the amazing flowering of democracy throughout Eastern Europe, we have this rollback happening right before our eyes. Russia's actions in Ukraine have violated all the international agreements that the post-Cold War and just even post-war security order have relied on to maintain peace. Did I answer your question?
Yes, let's see, Fisher, but what do your neighbors think? What does your son think?
But as Estonian, especially men, have done last couple of months, they have joined to this military service, which is like voluntarily. This I don't know, it's got National Guard or something like that.
Wow.
People are joining, so there is the threat, and we listen to the news every day, and we have got our independence making non-violent singing revolution, but we are the members of NATO and European Union, so we have some kind of security background. But of course, you never know when this bear, which we call this Russia, starts to come towards you, and what shall you do then, and who are your friends then? Because in my opinion, too many things have happened in Ukraine and nothing is done yet. There's the real war.
Didra has.
I just want to make a remark that I don't agree with that the country is too small to make actions. Our country's population is 1.3 million, and 69% of Estonian population are Estonians, 29 are Russian, and according to the late research, there are very few Russians who have wanted to go back to the Russia after Estonian independence. Actually, small country, if they have a strong will and sense of identity, can do a lot.
Thank you. I think we're out of time. If you've got an individual question for either Krista or Sholpan, please ask them. Let's give them a joint round of applause.